Ukraine's campaign to bring the war home to Russia has evolved with precision, intelligence, and confidence. From drone attacks on oil depots in Kursk and Belgorod to explosions at military airports deep inside Russia, the message is clear: there are no longer any safe zones. The Russian people, once assured that the special military operation was distant, are now waking up to the echoes of war inside their own borders. Air raid sirens, smoke rising from industrial plants, and frightened civilians are now becoming a daily part of Russian life. For Putin, this is an unthinkable humiliation. The Kremlin's narrative has always been built around control of information, control of the military, and control of perception. But when explosions light up the skies over Moscow's suburbs or when trains carrying ammunition derail mysteriously, that control starts to crumble. The Russian propaganda machine can't hide the reality anymore. Videos of destroyed infrastructure, burning oil facilities, and panicked responses from local officials spread like wildfire online. And the more the Kremlin tries to deny it, the more it exposes its weakness. Ukraine's strategy has shifted dramatically. This is no longer a war of defense, it's a campaign of exposure. Kyiv understands that undermining Putin's myth of safety is just as powerful as destroying a tank or shooting down a jet. Every successful strike inside Russia tells ordinary Russians that their government cannot protect them, that their borders are porous, and that their military might is not enough. This psychological warfare is proving to be one of Ukraine's greatest weapons. The use of long-range drones has become a key part of this shift. What began as small-scale attacks has transformed into a coordinated campaign capable of reaching targets hundreds of kilometers from the front. The Ukrainians have adapted technology rapidly, using both Western support and their own ingenuity to create drones that can evade radar and hit high-value targets. It's not just about the damage caused, but about showing that Russia's billion-dollar defense systems can be bypassed by low-cost, high impact tools of modern warfare. This innovation has left Russia scrambling to find answers, and its air defenses are stretched thin across thousands of kilometers. Meanwhile, the political cost for Putin is growing. Inside Russia, cracks are forming in the illusion of stability. Regional governors are being blamed for security failures, military bloggers are openly criticizing the government's incompetence, and citizens are questioning why their cities are under attack when they were promised total protection. Even among the elite, quiet conversations are shifting from confidence to concern. The sense that Russia is in control is gone, replaced by a creeping realization that the war may be slipping beyond Putin's grasp. This is exactly what Ukraine has been hoping for. The goal isn't just to reclaim territory, it's to break the system that fuels Russia's aggression. By bringing the war to Russia's doorstep, Ukraine is turning the tables on a superpower that once believed it could dictate the terms of conflict. Every drone that crosses the border, every explosion that hits a refinery, every blackout that follows a strike, all of these moments combine to form a new message: Russia is no longer safe, and Putin's promises are hollow. Internationally, this shift is being closely watched. Western analysts are noting that Ukraine's ability to project power into Russia's heartland represents a new phase in the war. The myth of Russian invincibility, already battered by battlefield losses and sanctions, is now collapsing entirely. Nations that once feared Moscow's reach are seeing that Russia's strength is not limitless. It's a reminder that power built on intimidation can crumble quickly when challenged by resilience and innovation. Even within the Russian military, frustration is growing. Commanders are finding it increasingly difficult to defend against these unpredictable attacks. The sheer size of Russia makes total defense impossible. No matter how many air defense systems they deploy, there will always be gaps. And every time Ukraine exploits one, it erodes the morale of Russian troops and citizens alike. Soldiers returning from the front talk of disorganization, shortages, and chaos. The dream of a quick, decisive victory has vanished. For Putin personally, this is a nightmare. His entire leadership image depends on projecting strength and control. He built his rule on the promise that Russia would rise again, strong, secure, and respected. But now, that image is cracking. He can no longer pretend that the war is distant or that the special operation is under control. Ordinary Russians are starting to see the cost, not just in lives and money, but in the fear and uncertainty creeping into their own neighborhoods. Ukraine's strikes on symbolic targets, such as the Kremlin drone incident or attacks near Moscow, have had an outsized impact on the Russian psyche. These are not just physical attacks, they're symbolic acts of defiance that shatter the myth of invulnerability. The idea that the capital of a nuclear superpower could be penetrated by Ukrainian drones would have been unthinkable just 2 years ago. Now, it's a reality that Putin can't erase. This also puts enormous pressure on Russia's security apparatus. The Federal Security Service, or FSB, has been forced to admit repeated failures to prevent sabotage and drone incursions. Each failure chips away at the regime's credibility. When citizens see that their own government can't protect them, the propaganda loses its grip. Fear begins to change direction. No longer fear of Ukraine or the West, but fear of their own leadership's incompetence. Economically, the situation is deteriorating too. Every successful strike on oil facilities, depots, or logistics hubs reverberates through the Russian economy. Energy exports, the lifeblood of the Russian state, are being disrupted. Repairing damaged infrastructure takes time and money that Moscow can't easily spare. With sanctions biting deeper and military expenses skyrocketing, Russia's ability to sustain the war is being stretched thin. Inflation, shortages, and declining living standards are fueling quiet anger across the country. And as the truth becomes harder to hide, the Kremlin's propaganda machine is starting to falter. Russian state TV once confidently claimed that everything was going according to plan, but now even loyal. Pundits struggle to explain why explosions are happening hundreds of miles inside the country. Some try to downplay the damage, others accuse the West of escalation. But none can deny that the illusion of control has been shattered. Ukraine, on the other hand, is gaining momentum both strategically and psychologically. These strikes have boosted morale among Ukrainians, reminding them that they can hit back and that their resistance is working. The message from Kyiv is simple and powerful. If Russia can bomb Ukrainian cities, then Ukraine has every right to target Russian infrastructure. This moral clarity is resonating not only within Ukraine but also with international allies who see it as a justified act of self-defense. The success of these operations has also influenced the dynamics of Western support. Countries that were once cautious about providing long-range weapons are beginning to reconsider. As Ukraine proves its ability to use these tools effectively and responsibly, pressure is mounting on Western governments to step up their assistance. Each successful strike is both a tactical victory and a political statement. Ukraine is capable, disciplined, and determined to win. In the long run, the war is transforming into something far larger than a territorial conflict. It's becoming a battle over truth, over perception, and over the very foundations of modern authoritarian power. Putin built his empire on fear, lies, and a sense of invincibility. Ukraine is dismantling that, one strike at a time. The more Russia's leaders try to hide their failures, the more visible those failures become. There's also a generational element to all this. Many young Russians, who have grown up under Putin's rule and have never known another leader, are seeing for the first time that their president is not infallible. The constant images of burning refineries, damaged airbases, and frustrated officials are sowing seeds of doubt. Once that doubt takes root, it's hard to erase. The road ahead remains uncertain, and the risks are high. Putin could escalate further, resorting to even more desperate measures to maintain control. But history has shown that when a regime begins to lose its grip on truth, its downfall becomes inevitable. Ukraine's strategy of exposing Russia's vulnerability is not just clever, it's historic. It's changing the way modern warfare is fought and redefining what it means to challenge a superpower. As the days go on, one thing is clear: Putin can't hide anymore. The illusion of a safe, powerful, and united Russia has been shattered. The war he started to demonstrate strength has instead revealed weakness. The fear he tried to project outward is now turning inward. And Ukraine, against all odds, has shown the world that even the mightiest empire can be shaken when truth, courage, and innovation stand against it. The story of this war is no longer just about land or weapons, it's about perception, pride, and power. Ukraine has rewritten the rules of resistance, proving that even in the face of overwhelming force, determination and intelligence can break through walls of propaganda and fear. As Putin's image crumbles and his people question the lies they've been told, one truth stands firm: Russia is no longer untouchable, and the age of its delusion of safety is over. If you found this analysis insightful, make sure to subscribe for more updates as this dramatic situation continues to evolve. Because what we're witnessing now isn't just the unraveling of a war, it's the unraveling of a regime built on illusion.